What's happening with the job market right now? Feels like it's the hardest it's ever been to find a job, but the unemployment numbers aren't that bad. It's like 4.1%. They're creeping up. We're about to get new unemployment numbers. And before that, we have a little bit of new information that's come up from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. My name is Jason Roberts. I'm a recruiter. I've been a recruiter for 25 years. And as a part of that job, I'm an analyst in the recruiting space. I want to share with you what I'm seeing in the market and let you know what you can do to maximize your chances of finding a job, given where we are today. Now, Indeed's Hiring Lab has published a report that I'm going to put up, and it's leading up to a new jobs report that's supposed to come out later this week. And what it does is it breaks down some of the other metrics outside of unemployment, which people spend a lot of time looking at, but it's really not the most important thing for us. Here's the highlights of the report. It says the June JOLTS report won't bring comfort to anyone looking for a sign of stabilization in the U.S. labor market. Job openings held steady in June, so the number of job openings held steady. And Indeed is really great about sharing their job opening data, so that's steady. And it's got 8.2 open positions at the end of the month, but that's the only thing that's held steady. And the hires rate's a really important number. I'm going to put that up right now. The hires rate, what it shows us is the percentage of employment versus gross hiring. So what's the gross hiring versus percentage of employment? If you look at this chart, what it's showing is that the percentage of hiring shot upward for a period of time. And that was right after COVID. So we had this dip in hiring during COVID. And you can see sort of this dearth of hires that happened. And it was, at one point we were down almost at 3%. And then it shot back up right after COVID. And we were hiring, at a huge clip, right? So we increased our hiring almost by 50% overnight as a percentage of overall employment. So that's a big improvement. That's a lot that we did. But then you see a little bit of volatility and a steady drop downward. Now, that steady drop downward is pretty shocking. We haven't seen hiring this low since we were in the middle of the pandemic. This is like March of 2020 levels that we're looking at right here. That's bad. That's not really good at all. On top of that, quits, the number of people who are quitting their jobs, that is also decreasing. So hire rates and quit rates are trending down, and that's a concerning trajectory given their relatively low levels already. So we already have hiring levels that are bad. So the only good news coming out of all of this is that the same number of jobs seem to be open. Job openings are flat. And I anticipate that staying the case. I think that we've seen a level off of that. And what I think is going to happen, my hope is at least, is that we'll see some sort of rebound in hires. Now, the quits number is the trick. Keeping an eye on the number of people who are quitting their jobs every month. If that continues to decrease, most open jobs are to do with churn, meaning there are jobs open because someone left their job before that. Until that churn picks up, until people feel comfortable changing jobs again, which apparently they don't right now. People are uncomfortable changing jobs right now. But until people feel more comfortable changing jobs, we're not going to see that start to increase the number of jobs that are open. And we're not going to see the number of hires increase either. We need the quit to increase. We need people to start leaving. We're in a log jam. We're stuck. We're stuck with the number of jobs that we have right now. So what can you do in this situation? That's the real question, right? What in the world can you do? Well, there's a few things. The big deal is you've got to capture as much attention as you possibly can in the market. And the way that you do that, the very first way that you can capture attention is by having a skill that's highly valuable. Now, what does that mean? You may have done lots of different things at lots of different companies, but if you niche down and you say, all right, I used 6 different software platforms over a period of time, and each job I spent a bunch of time in, C++. I'm going to use something super random, lots of people use. But you can be more of an expert in C++, or you can be more of an expert in Java. But being an expert in one thing, believe it or not, commands higher salaries. And that's valuable to you. It's oftentimes more valuable to find sort of the hot skill, the hot new thing. And that's what you go for there. So keep an eye on that. See where you can make your resume a specialty resume when someone's hiring into a specialty position. Now, not everybody can do that. So that's not for everyone. The other thing you can do is make sure that your resume is tailored for the job. Now, lots of people are saying that these days, and here's what that really means. The first thing you need is for someone to be able to find your resume when you've applied within a stack of a ton of other people who are applying for the same job. So you need your resume to go up to the top. Applicant tracking systems, they sort by relevancy, meaning the closer you are to that job description, the higher you'll be on the list of resumes for a recruiter to review. So if you literally want to be on the top of the stack, you make your resume as close to the job description as possible. Now, does that mean you make things up? Does that mean you just plagiarize the job description and turn that in as your resume? No, you don't do that. But what you do is, if you have in your job history something like, I was a software engineer, and they want to hire someone like developer level 2. Well, you just change your title to be developer level 2. And it's the same thing as a software engineer at the level that you were at, but you're using the language of that company, and the relevancy based on that system is going to go up. What I'll tell you is these systems are not particularly smart. The larger the company, the dumber their systems tend to be. The smaller technologies that are typically delivered to smaller companies are a little more agile, and they have better, more recent technology. So don't assume because you're working with a big company, you're applying to a big company, they have better tech and they'll be able to see you for who you are. No. Get your resume to the top of the stack by being as relevant as you possibly can. All right. Third thing you can do, and I think the most important, is talk to a human being. You can do that in 2 ways. One, if you happen to have a person that you know that you can have refer you, do that and find the hiring manager for them to talk to directly. So a referral is the best bet. Secondly, you can find the hiring manager in the job description. I'm going to link a video that I did a screen share. I showed you exactly how you can find the hiring manager. I think it's really valuable. What you need to do is you've got to make human contact. When you're one of a bazillion people that's out there who've applied for this job, there's no reason for somebody to spend a lot of time looking at your resume. But once you make contact, once you've found the person, then you have a chance to differentiate yourself. So do that. Focus on what your differentiators are and sell that when you make contact. It's 100% possible to do. So I'm going to leave a link to this video. The Cliff Notes version is this. You look at the title, and in the job description, they leave little clues. They say this job reports to this title. Then you go to LinkedIn and you do a search for that title. You do a search, and you're trying to figure out what people are out there that have that title. Once you find the people that have that title, you found the person that you need to make contact with. You can make contact with them in a super cool way. Directly on LinkedIn, you send them a friend request, but in the text of the friend request, you just say, "Hi, I saw that you're hiring for this job," and you can say whatever you want, and it'll pop up as a request, as a LinkedIn request, like a link request, not a friend request. That's Facebook. But you try to connect, you click the connect button, and you can write whatever you want in that piece. So that's where you make your connection with somebody. Super simple. The other thing is I show you in the video that I mentioned how to find their work email address, and you can email them directly. Same text, just, they may not check their LinkedIn very often. So go ahead and do that as well. All right. These are some great tips and tricks. I have a free resume template that I'm going to give you a link to. It's my template. It tells you exactly what you put where and what you can do there. And I'm going to link to a couple of other videos, like how to use ChatGPT to do the customization I talked about. So try to give you all the resources that you need in order to be as effective as you can at finding a job, given where we are today. All right. Best of luck in your job search.